What's up, everybody? It's your favorite record killer's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Iron Factory Legends class Overlord, or Evillord as I think they called him. I wanted to take a look at this guy because with that new third-party masterpiece scaled Overlord coming and MMC's Carnifex right around the corner, supposedly, there's just a lot of hype around the character. So that's one reason. The second reason is that a lot of people on my third-party discussion videos were talking about Iron Factory as it being one of their favorites. And I didn't go through Iron Factory because I haven't messed with enough Iron Factory pieces to really make an opinion. Luckily, a buddy of mine, Robert D, is a huge Iron Factory and DX9 Legend scale third-party collector, and he wanted me to have the opportunity to take a look at a few, so he sent them my way. He's actually coming to Skullfest, which has already happened by this point that you're seeing the video, and he's just going to pick them up from there. So that's why we're taking a look at them, and we'll talk about accessories first. Now, there was like two releases of this. There was like a standard release and then like the special edition release, which came with this sword. But we're going to talk about this one, which is the special edition release. So one thing, and we'll get this straight out of the way, the back does clean out fairly nicely. We must all agree on that. But it is extremely irritating. Why, you ask? Now it's staying in there. So that didn't go as quite as I planned, did it? But it does fall out. It doesn't hold extremely well. So that's frustrating. Once you get him posed on the shelf and stuff, he'll be fine, but it is worth noting. Another accessory is this sword. This is extremely nice. It is a bit pliable, which probably will help it in its sturdiness, but it stresses me out at the same time. It has a nice chrome finish on there, that looks good, and then it is a black paint, like a glossy paint on the bottom of it. This is looks like Drift's sword to me, and it is a nice little accessory. I'm not sure what the cost was, special edition wise, to get it, but it is nice. He also comes with this gun, folds up a taste. Other than that, just purple cast, no paint or extra details, but the sculpt work is nice, and it does look the part. And then he comes with this signature little jet piece, which plugs into the side of his arm. Now, these pieces, I think, are supposed to be on the side of his arm, but you can just unpeg them on both sides and plug them in to the calves, and then that will give you the space to plug the jet thing onto his forearm, which is cool. Smart. And this has some nice paint on it as well, some silver and the yellow, and the yellow is done extremely well. That's yellow on black, folks. That's not an easy thing to pull off, and they did it. And then it has the little landing gear, but we'll talk about that a little later on. He's also asked me and pleaded me that I not break this, so we're going to try our best. Alright, put the pillows down, wrap my fingers in toilet tissue, and here we go. The head is actually a really good sculpt for being that small. It's arguably a little small for proportion-wise to the body, but I don't think it's terrible, and I kind of like my robots with a bit smaller heads. I think it just makes them look more intimidating, and it always gives that illusion that you're kind of looking at them up, you know, like they're so huge, but it doesn't matter. It is a bit small. The red eyes are painted well, as is the silver face, so that's cool. Now, he did apply repro labels to this, so we're not going to take those into account. It is on a ball. It might be a double ball peg. No, it's a single ball peg. The peg is in the head, and the ball joint is in the torso, or the chest. So limited articulation down to there, up to there, and then the swivel is intact. No waist swivel, which I think is a complete bummer. It's because of this backpack, which we're going to get to, trust me, but it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? And I guess if you unpeg it, you can kind of get it. You know what? I think that's fine. At first I was going to say, but you know, I think that's okay. Because then you get an ab crunch and everything else out of it, and that's pretty cool. It does make you sort of undo the transformation a taste, and it does make you have to kind of hunch him over just a bit to get the swivel in his waist. But I think it's acceptable. I truly do. Alright, let's continue on. So the little cannons here, they articulate a bit. They're not supposed to, obviously, you know, for the robot, but you can do it. Then we have a ball peg going into the shoulder, and it is a nice sturdy ball peg. Out to there, which is good, and then swivels all the way around, and then you get a little bit of an extra hinge inside the torso or the chest. So that's an added bonus. Bicep swivel, we got a little bit of paint accents there. That's cool. Single jointed elbow, getting you past 90 degrees though, so I think that that's cool. Purple wings painted there. Wrists are stationary, so you're not getting any movement out of them. Same for the other side. Now, the hips are on ball joints, T-jointed ball joints. Let me see if I can. And we can back out a little bit now. So they get you the full range there. And then forward to there, back, not really because the backpack, if you unpeg the backpack and move them around, you can get a little bit more, but I'm not sure it's ultimately worth it. Usually you don't need the legs to go back like that anyway. So that's fine. Thigh swivel where these joints come in, so that works fine. And then you get a single jointed knee, or is that double? I think that's double. Yep, it is double. It's a double jointed knee, but it really, the second joint doesn't really help you with articulation. It's 90 degrees. And then we have all this bit of business. This turquoise plastic here really works well. And then the rest of the stuff. Now these are another piece I find frustrating. These pieces off here are constantly popping off for me. And it's this one more so than this one, but even this one, if you see it, it's not quite sitting flush. Silver paint on the treads, that's done well. And the little silver accents throughout are done well. Purple accent there, as well as these little gray accents here and silver there, all work good. So that's cool. When it comes to the foot, it's like a ball peg that goes into the base of the ankle, or the foot rather, that comes out to a hinge. So you get an ankle, it's not really an ankle anything, it's more like a toe tilt, and then a toe swivel, which you know basically fronts as an ankle rocker. But I think given the size of the figure, like the scale of the figure, I think it's still fairly effective. Wouldn't you agree? Let's get him transformed. Take the legs off like we talked about. Make sure these are nice and squared up the best you can right now. And you open up this bit, and our favorite thing in the world, fold in the hands into the forearm, close that back up. Same for the other side. Rotate, find a sweet spot to get it, like if it's not as out to the side as it can be, you have a hard time getting the clearance to manipulate this shoulder, so just, you know, act accordingly. And then you want to rotate them up so that this tab goes into that slot there. Same for the other side. Take the pieces off. Take the pieces off of here. The wings on both sides, and plug them in accordingly here and here. And then you take the front little jet piece. It has a little piece that flips up. You latch that onto this bar here. This is very loose, but still poses no issue. And there you have the bit of a jet. And you might even be able to turn his head around. Let's see. To clean up even better. Yep. So that's good. When it comes to the legs, you want to take off these turquoise pieces. This is very parts forming that's going to bother some people. That one's been dying to come off anyway. Fold the feet flat. This around. Snap into place. And then I think he has his on a particular way where I got to take off these pieces, but we'll see. There. Fold the feet flat. And then you can take those off too. Those come together, and then you can take this piece and the gun has a little handle. You just flip it up, plug that into there, and then you can put this on top. And then it articulates. You can take these pieces and you can put these on either way. I would guess there's a right way and a wrong way. I'm just not sure what those ways would be. There we go. So we'll take a look at these two guys. You are left with these two pieces and the ramp, so that's less than favorable. With the amount of parts forming that goes on, you would think they would come up with a bit of a better way to kind of make this all work in terms of utilizing all the pieces. However, you do get a little bit here. There's no wheels, but the paint detailings, oh, those are stickers. Robert, you're killing me with the non-straight stickers. You did a bit better job on that side. Anyway, I think that this is okay, right? I think that this one works a bit better, and the transformation is a bit more fun. But overall, not hateful, I wouldn't say. There they are in comparison to one another. I think it's fairly, you know what? I think it's fine. And now to base mode. So unpeg these arms and bring them down and around. Fold the shoulder piece, which we already talked about and I just didn't listen to myself. So you get that sweet spot. And then, oof, there. This comes up and these hold it in place. I guess you can do whatever you want with those wings. Floppy. And then these fold out. We're going to have to mess with this probably 1,000 more times, so I think I might like the wings open. They should have really, I guess that the tabs there are supposed to just, you're supposed to just kind of lean it back against them. Fat Joe style. We'll take this off if we can. Well, let's see if we can't just separate it. Oh, okay. And I think like this. And then I think that these just sort of sit here. And then you have to deal with these ramps, which are kind of their own beast. You know, it feels like to me, but I guess not. So these clip down in here, and then they just sort of sit in here, and same on this side. And we'll put this like that. My patience nor my hands are built for this sort of thing. This front piece is just sort of held with tension, and you can get them to peg onto here. On the sides, no, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this without it coming apart. There's just no way. And this little hinge here is a floptopus also. Ooh, alright, that's one. I don't know if there's a place for this or not. We'll sit it there. I guess you could peg it into one of those side places. It's okay, I guess. It looks better than it is. You know, it's just like, it's fragile. Not in a breaking sense, but in a like you can't really move it around or do anything with it because nothing really is secure about it. It just sort of sits there. Let's go. Let's see if we can't go extra stupid. Yes, we can. You know, so if you can stomach this, it's fine. I guess it does it. You know, it doesn't really do it that effectively, but it does do it, so it's okay, I guess. I don't know. Size comparison wise, and I thought this was kind of interesting. He is a decent size. Slightly shorter than a deluxe, significantly taller than both an Iron Factory normal Legends figure and an Hasbro Legends figure. Final thoughts wise, this is a real mixed bag for me. On one hand, the materials are good, the articulation is good, with the exception of the waist swivel where you kind of have to utilize the ab crunch in order to get it. And the accessories are cool, but kind of like the way this thing works, like going to the like, I don't know, it's I guess what I feel like, it's going to the vehicle modes, it's fine, but for the amount of parts forming that it does, and you know, I don't have an issue with parts forming. I don't care. That's not my issues. If you want to parts form, especially a character like Overlord that does historically parts form, and technically has to. So that's not my issue. But my issue is if you're going to parts form, and you're going to have the amount of parts forming that this does, with panels coming off, and little side pieces coming off, and all that, then I feel like the finished mode should be better for it. And I'm not sure that's the case here. And that is my big complaint. With the amount of kind of parts forming to get around things, it doesn't pay off completely. In the vehicle mode, you're left with excess pieces, and in the base mode, you're left with stuff that doesn't really fit together. It's just sort of sitting amongst one another. Also, you know, to be fair, it's probably the best legend scale Overlord that you'll ever get, because there's a lot of good stuff here. The sculpt is good, and robot mode is pretty, you know. At the same time, it's not really effective in its job going from mode to mode. So I'm 50-50 on this. I would say if you like the bot and you want to display just the bot, or you want to flip it back and forth to vehicle mode from time to time, go ahead. I recommend this guy. But if you really want to be able to utilize all three modes, and you don't want a whole bunch of pieces left over in each mode with the exception of robot mode, then I can't recommend this guy. Ultimately, I think it does an okay job. It's just for the amount of kind of shortcuts that it takes, you would think everything would be a bit better for it, and instead everything kind of suffers for it, which is strange, and that's kind of how I feel about it. But thanks for listening, thanks for watching, until next time, take care.